Dr. Lana Holstein and Dr. David Taylor created that workshop that helped the couple that you just saw, and they run these workshops at the Miraval Resort in Arizona. They have a book out called Your Long Erotic Weekend, and that enables you to do it on your own as well. And good morning to both of you.
Good morning.
Well, that really had a happy ending so far for this couple. They saved their marriage by having sex. But what is a sexless marriage? How do you define that?
You know, a sexless marriage is defined as less than 10 times a year, intimate contact less than 10 times a year. But, you know, there's a lot of couples in that category if you define it like that.
With little kids, right? What's the dynamic that happens? Is it just too many life stresses? Is that why sex goes by the wayside?
That's one of the things. Too busy and too tired. There's also too sort of distant and disconnected. And then there's some irritability and anger. And then people just become kind of like roommates or brothers and sisters.
How does a man deal with that kind of situation?
Well, it evolves over a period of time, but often there's some frustration and some anger, and then ultimately kind of withdrawal. It gets very neutral, and people can stay friends, but they just don't have that passion.
And what about for women, because there's such an emotional connection?
Absolutely. I think a lot of women think, well, it takes energy to have sex instead of it gives you energy to have sex. You know, there's a whole brain cascade of chemicals that actually...
It's good for you.
Yes, absolutely.
Right.
It increases longevity. It makes you healthier. And women start to think, well, you know, this is some sort of a duty, or this is some kind of
like a job.
I have to do.
Right. That it becomes mundane.
Right. Instead of connecting at a deeper level, I think people yearn for that deeper connection sexually, which is what we're teaching at Miraval.
You're kind of talking about the difference between just plain having sex and making love, right?
Yeah, that's exactly it, yeah. We like to call it mindful sexuality because it's sort of the intentional creation of that connection between love and sex that develops true intimacy.
And how do you do that? How does a couple recapture the spark?
Well, you know, one of the things they have to do is that they really have to get back into feeling the love. So often we try and tell couples not so much talking, more touching, more connection on a daily basis. We also give them homework while they're at the program that they do in the privacy of their own rooms, which is really pleasuring one another. And then we set them up with a contract. So when they leave, they have a 30-day plan that they're going to take home. You know?
So you have to really be committed, is what you tell people, to having a sex life.
Yeah, at the workshop you can have some great experiences that really open you up and kind of remind you of what it used to be like. But then that's not enough. You have to have a practice. You have to have something to change your habits, because the habits are the thing that really get people trapped in this sexless marriage.
Well, you have a lot of great advice in this book. It's called Your Long Erotic Weekend. And thank you guys so much for being here. We appreciate it.
You're welcome.
And they're married, by the way, for 32 years, so they know what they're talking about. That's Dr. Lana Holstein and Dr. David Taylor.